Hi there, my name is Colleen Moore and I'm one of the application engineers here at Design Point. Today I want to tell you a little bit about workspace efficiency. Specifically today we're going to be talking about this model here and our SOLIDWORKS workspace, but this model comes directly from the CSWP practice exam. So you might find that familiar if you've already done that before. If not, maybe you can take some of these tips that you'll learn from this video today and apply them as you're working through that exam. But keep in mind that you can also take this to your typical modeling, things that you do on a daily basis. It doesn't have to live just within the exams. So what I really want to show you about is how can we create a clean layout that's going to be very beneficial to your workflow, and some of the tools that you'll learn today will actually transform your workflow. Know that it's okay to experiment and that this is not just for time, but it's also for comfort and confidence as you work through your models. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is how can we create the cleanest workspace possible. First thing that you'll want to do is, sometimes a lot of people have this pinned out here. Make sure you have it unpinned so you get the maximum amount of workspace. The other thing that you can do is clean up any unused tabs that you have. You see that I just have features, sketch, surfaces, sheet metal, and weldments. They're the most frequent items that I use. But when you start out with SOLIDWORKS, you default to kind of having multiple tabs. You might have this evaluate tab right here. But the easiest way to remove them is just by right-clicking. You can right-click on any tab. I'll do it on surfaces just to show you that you can do it anywhere. Go to tabs, and then any items that have a checkbox that you don't want anymore, go ahead and remove them, or you can select one that you want to bring in and you'll see that a checkbox will show up. So let's remove that one, and that takes it away. And the reason that I've done that is because I've now customized my workspace in some other ways to be able to access the tools on the Evaluate tab easily, and maybe even easier than accessing it directly from the tab. So let's take a look at how I did that. You'll see up here, I now have some of the items from Evaluate. I have mass properties, I have check, I have zebra stripes, draft analysis. So how did I add these items into here, into my heads up toolbar? I actually went here to the drop down next to your options, go to customize, and then you can go to shortcut bars. So now that I'm in shortcut bars, I can actually search for many different tools from this drop down right here. Let's go to tools. And you'll see that where's the measure tool up here? I don't have it active here. So we can just bring that in just by dragging and placing it wherever I want on this toolbar. But I can just as easily remove it just by pulling it off the screen. So you might be familiar with adding these shortcuts here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But just know that you don't only have to use these icons, these tools, for the S key shortcuts. You can also use it up here in the heads up toolbar and other places. So the next thing that we want to do is talk about that sketch toolbar. So you'll see here that I have many different tools in my part shortcut toolbar, and I can change the size of it to whatever best fits me. But I have many different extrudes, cut extrudes, sweeps, and so on. And then I also have some pattern features. I have a few pattern features here in assemblies, but then let's focus on sketches. You'll see here that I have a lot of sketch tools, but I also have some basic extrude tools here in my sketch shortcut toolbar as well, because that way it will allow me to go from a sketch straight to an extrude very easily. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And we'll focus also on mouse gestures. So apologies, let's go back into customize here. And we'll take a look at mouse gestures. And you'll see that I have my mouse gestures set to 8. It defaults to 4, but let's do 8. 12 can sometimes get a little bit much, but 8 I feel very comfortable with as a designer. And let's take a look at what I have for part, assembly, and sketch. So you'll see that I have actually all of my views set to these keys. Let's come out of here and take a look at how that'll work. So right now I have this set in an isometric view. Let's go to the front side view. You can see as I move my mouse, all of these become available, and as I release, I can go into the view. So let's take a look. Let's go to right side, left side, bottom, top. We can go normal to a face, so let's choose a random face. We'll do this bottom one here and go normal to it. And then we can go quickly back to isometric. And all of that was just a few mouse gestures with my hand on my mouse. You right click and then you can access all of them. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is that I recommend keeping your right hand on your mouse and your left hand on the ASDF keys. Of course, different if you happen to be a left-hander. I am a right-handed by nature. But more often than not, you'll need to use the keys in that general area, like Control, Shift, Q. So Control Q for a force rebuild, your S key for your sketch tools. And you may have to leave there a little bit, but it should get you most of the way. So the next thing that I want to show you is how you can add a couple hotkeys. So let's go here to Keyboard, back in Customize. So I don't have the Evaluate tab up here, and I also don't have Measure in my Heads Up toolbar. So let's search for Measure, and you can see that I actually have it linked to my M key. So here's a case where I'll come away from the ASDF area of the keyboard a little bit, but it's still just a quick shift of my pointer finger to the M, and now I can measure between a couple of faces very easily. So I can see the angle, or at least that perpendicular to each other right here. All right, so I want to give you a few tips on how to make some changes to your model. So let's try to keep our mouse in this general area as much as possible. And I rolled back right here just for sake of showing you a few extra tips. So I want to make a sketch on this face right here. So we're going to just click on this plane, and you'll see that this little toolbar comes right up, and you can hit sketch right from there. So now we're going to use our S key to sketch on here and grab a circle. So right on this face, let's just make a circle. I'm not going to dimension it fully right now, but you'll see that I also have my D key set to my smart dimension, so we can very easily give a measurement to this circle, and we're done with that sketch. So let's hit the sketch key again, and we'll do an extruded cut with this sketch. So we're just going to keep it at, well, we can drag it into here a little bit. We'll hit OK. So we can see that that gave us a cut extrude right on that face. Next, what we want to do is we want to get rid of this feature in here. We don't want anything within that hole. So how can we do that? There's actually a feature. You'll find it in surfaces. You might not be too familiar with it, and you don't need to be doing just surfacing techniques in your model to be able to use this. It's an extremely powerful tool. I love to use it, and we'll just make a few clicks on faces. It can sometimes be a little picky, so let's see how we can find that it's a little picky. So we think that we've selected all of the faces. We'll hit accept, but you see here the faces cannot be patched due to geometry condition. Why is that? Let's flip our part around, and you can see that we didn't select all of the relevant faces. Now we can right click to accept again, another way to keep your mouse within your model workspace. And you can see that we removed all of those features from the inside. So now let's add a chamfer. We can go into here because I have that set to my sketch tools. We'll add this chamfer right here, and let's just make 2 clicks on those faces. But our chamfer shouldn't be 10 millimeters. It should actually be 2 millimeters for this project. So right here, instead of going the whole way back to the property manager, we're just going to click there, hit 2, hit enter, enter again, and now we've created our chamfer. So the last thing I want to take a look at is, now that we've done all of these things to make our workspace super efficient, we've learned some good modeling techniques for efficiency, let's take a look at how much more efficient I was. So I actually modeled this part from scratch, both with efficiency techniques and without. So this is without right here. You can see that I traveled a little over 38 meters and I made 553 clicks. So it seems okay, but let's add some efficiency techniques in. Take a look at how much more efficient I was. About half the clicks and about 1/3 of the distance traveled, all because I kept my mouse within my workspace right in here. All right, well, I hope that you found this helpful today, and you were able to find something that you can take with you to your modeling techniques, and make sure you use this on the CSWP exam. Thank you for watching.